The recent decision by the United States and NATO allies, including France and the United Kingdom, to permit Ukraine to carry out strikes within Russian territory using advanced long-range ATACMS missiles has significantly escalated global tensions. This shift in Western policy marks a turning point in the ongoing conflict, with profound implications for the battlefield dynamics, international diplomacy, and the geopolitical balance. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has expressed strong approval of this new capability, signaling that such robust military support from NATO countries aligns seamlessly with Ukraine's overarching strategy to secure victory against Russian aggression. In a recent address, Zelensky described the decision as a game-changer, asserting that the enhanced capability would allow Ukraine to disrupt Russian military operations more effectively, target key logistical hubs, and neutralize threats originating from deep within Russian territory. The ATACMS system, known for its precision and long-range capabilities, represents a significant upgrade in Ukraine's arsenal. The missiles can strike targets up to 300 kilometers away, making them an ideal tool for disrupting supply lines, command centers, and other critical infrastructure within Russia's borders. Ukrainian military officials have confirmed plans to use these missiles strategically, focusing on high-value targets to maximize their impact. This development follows months of lobbying by Kyiv for access to such advanced weaponry, with Zelensky repeatedly emphasizing the need for long-range strike capabilities to counter Moscow's entrenched military positions. The decision by the US and its allies comes amid heightened tensions and a rapidly evolving battlefield scenario. Over the past year, Ukraine has struggled to achieve significant breakthroughs in its counteroffensive, largely due to well-fortified Russian defenses and extensive minefields. The introduction of ATACMS missiles is expected to shift the dynamics by enabling Ukraine to strike deep into Russian-controlled areas, potentially forcing Moscow to divert resources to protect its rear positions. Western leaders have framed the decision as a necessary step to ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. U.S. President Joe Biden, in a statement accompanying the announcement, reiterated his administration's commitment to standing with Ukraine for as long as it takes. French President Emmanuel Macron and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak echoed similar sentiments, highlighting the importance of providing Ukraine with the tools it needs to defend itself and deter further aggression. However, the move has not been without controversy. Critics have raised concerns about the risks of escalation, with some warning that strikes within Russian territory could provoke a disproportionate response from Moscow. Russian officials have already reacted with fury, condemning the decision as a reckless provocation and a direct challenge to their national security. The Kremlin issued a strongly worded statement, accusing the West of crossing a red line and warning of grave consequences. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu has reportedly ordered an immediate review of the country's defensive posture, signaling that Moscow is preparing for potential escalation. In addition to official statements, Russian state media has amplified warnings of retaliation, with commentators suggesting that Moscow may target Western supply chains and escalate cyber attacks against NATO countries. The rhetoric has fueled fears of a broader conflict, with some analysts cautioning that the situation could spiral out of control if either side miscalculates. The international community has also weighed in on the development, with reactions ranging from cautious support to outright alarm. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg described the decision as a measured and justified response to Russia's continued aggression, emphasizing that NATO remains committed to ensuring Ukraine's security. Meanwhile, China and India, two major global powers with significant stakes in the conflict, have called for restraint. Beijing, in particular, has urged all parties to avoid actions that could escalate tensions further, reiterating its long-standing position advocating for dialogue and negotiations. The timing of this decision is particularly significant, as it comes against the backdrop of increasing Russian collaboration with countries like North Korea and Iran. Recent reports of North Korean long-range artillery and drones being deployed in support of Russian forces have added another layer of complexity to the conflict. Western officials have cited these developments as justification for their decision to provide Ukraine with advanced weaponry, arguing that Moscow's actions have left them with no choice but to escalate their support for Kyiv. Domestically, the decision has sparked debate within the United States and other NATO countries. While many lawmakers and public figures have supported the move, viewing it as a necessary step to counter Russian aggression. Others have expressed concerns about the potential risks. Critics have questioned whether the decision could lead to unintended consequences, including a direct confrontation between NATO and Russia. For Ukraine, the authorization to use ATACMS missiles represents both an opportunity and a challenge. While the new capability could significantly enhance its military effectiveness, it also raises the stakes. Strikes within Russian territory are likely to provoke strong reactions, potentially increasing the intensity of the conflict. Ukrainian officials have acknowledged these risks but argue that the benefits outweigh the potential downsides. In a recent interview, a senior Ukrainian military official stated that the country's survival depends on its ability to take the fight to the enemy, emphasizing that the ATACMS missiles will play a crucial role in achieving that goal. The human cost of the conflict continues to mount as both sides intensify their operations. In recent weeks, Ukrainian cities have faced relentless bombardments, with civilian casualties rising steadily. At the same time, Russian border towns have reported an increase in attacks, underscoring the growing reach of Ukraine's counteroffensive. The introduction of long-range missiles is likely to exacerbate these trends, with civilian infrastructure on both sides at heightened risk. As the situation unfolds, all eyes will be on the battlefield and the corridors of power in Washington, Moscow, and Kiev. The decision to allow Ukraine to strike within Russian territory represents a bold and risky gamble by the US and its allies. Whether it will lead to a decisive shift in the conflict or push the world closer to a broader war remains to be seen. For now, the focus remains on the immediate implications, as Ukraine prepares to launch its first long-range strikes and Russia braces for the impact of this significant escalation.